So you would be proud of me because I saw it and my inner magpie wanted it. It was glittery, it was rainbowy, it was sparkly, and I wanted it. But I admired it, I left it on the shelf, and I walked away. Hey. I said, I said I left the sparkly thing on the shelf and I didn't take it with me to the checkout. Are you okay? Well, you're not quite here with me right now. You look a little distracted. What's going on? Okay, what'd you get? A letter. Okay. Oh, hang on. Is this who I think it is? I had no idea you guys kept in touch. Why did you keep in touch? You hated him. He was a jerk to everyone. But you most of all. Okay. Oh, he's doing one of those apology tours. Gotcha. It's, what, a 12-step thing? Yep. Alcoholic. Wow. You think he was drinking when we were kids? I mean, isn't this one of those things that people do when they're making amends for all of the things that they did while they were drunk? Huh. Strange, the things you never realized you never knew. It's kind of tragic. You know? Well, yeah, I mean, I know he was a jerk. I was there. He got me too a few times. Not like he did you. But at the same time, we're looking at this as adults. And the fact of the matter is, he was a kid. He was, how old? 14, 15 last time we saw him? Yeah, exactly. He was just a kid. I mean, something was going on. If he had access and motive to be drinking like that, don't you think? I can see why you wouldn't want to sympathize with him. You were his biggest victim, after all. Well, apparently, aside from himself. Oh, come on, it doesn't take away from what he did to you to acknowledge that he was doing something to himself as well. Look, I don't mean to make this all about pity or bully, and I'm sorry if it comes off that way. I am still on your side. I've always been on your side. And you don't owe this guy anything. You don't have to forgive him. You don't have to acknowledge him. You don't have to not forgive him or not acknowledge him. It's just what you need that matters. I'm sorry if it seemed like I wasn't being supportive here. But I will say that I wish you would. Like I said, you don't owe him anything. And I don't want you to do it for him. I mean, okay, in the grand scheme of things, I like a good redemption story. I like to imagine that people can evolve and that we will let them evolve, because if we don't, then bad things will just stay bad, right? But he doesn't need you to forgive him in order for him to evolve. What you need, though, is what matters to me. And even though you don't think about it often, even though it's not a part of your daily existence, there's still trauma there for you. And I get it. I really do get it. He wasn't much of a bully to me, but you know I had them. And so I know that it's hard to get past, because what he did wasn't just, I don't know, call you names. What he did wasn't just push you around. What he did was make you feel small and make you feel weak and made you feel stupid and made you feel unliked and unloved. Chipping away at someone's self-worth is a far bigger deal than just insulting them. And the reason it's hard to forgive is because it's hard to get past that feeling of being unworthy. So I'm not asking you to forgive him because he deserves it or because we should feel sorry for him. I'm hoping you'll forgive him because it takes away a little bit of the power that he had. If you don't care, it doesn't hurt you. And I don't mean that in a beaten down and apathetic kind of way. I mean, picture some random kid, just some random kid you've never seen before, right? And this kid may be a jerk, and he's drunk, and you know that he's in trouble. Where the hell are his parents, right? And now I want you to imagine that poor, parentless, drunk kid who is lashing out at the world calls you stupid. Does it hurt your feelings? No. Why? Exactly, because he's a stupid, drunk little asshole who has problems. It's not about you. It's about him and his life and whatever the hell's going on with him at home. That random kid has no ability to hurt you. Now, of course, it's different because that random imaginary kid also isn't speaking to another kid who doesn't know any better, who believes just a little that they are stupid, that they are weak, that they are ugly, that they are awkward, and like they are just not worthy. But here's the thing, even that little kid that you were wasn't stupid. You had the ability to empathize with someone if they were going through a rough time. You had the ability to understand that if someone was lashing out, it wasn't necessarily about you. You just didn't get that chance to because you didn't know what he was going through. And again, I'm not saying that what he did was okay. It wasn't right. But it also wasn't about you. And I think that's why I would like you to be able to forgive him. Because if you can forgive him, then it seems like you've taken back some of that power that he took from you when you were a kid. Taken back that dignity. I am absolutely not saying that you need to befriend this guy. I am not saying that this is a kumbaya moment where everyone is healed with a happy ending. All I'm saying is, you spent a lot of time as a kid having it reinforced to you that all of his words, all of his cruelness was about you. Maybe as an adult, you can reinforce to yourself that it was about him. In the end, it really is a kid that you're upset with. And that's a lot of power to give to a kid, especially a kid with a lot of alcohol. Me? Yeah. I've done it. I mean, My bully didn't ask for my forgiveness, but she got it. I don't know what her problem was, actually. I mean, as an adult, I can look back and think something was going on because that kid was only in school once a week. And I think actually at the time I thought that as well. But that didn't make me sympathetic to her. That just proved to me what a badass she was and she was going to kick my ass. So I was so afraid of her. What changed? I did something that I'm not proud of. And I think I might have done it more than once. In fact, I know I've done it more than once, but I don't know how often I did it. Okay, well, you know how when you get to be friends with somebody, you start playfully insulting each other? And yeah, it can be a bonding experience. It can be a way of saying, hey, let's play. And I'll give you a little bit of roasting, you give me a little bit of roasting, and it'll be good. But I didn't always know the person well enough to do that. And I also didn't always recognize that sometimes my jokes, or what I thought were jokes, were a little too on the nose, or a little too cutting. Because I thought I was just being silly. I thought I was just being funny. I had a day when I was at the mall with a few friends, and there was this new girl to the group, and I said something unkind. I'd made some joke that was really unkind, and I don't remember what it was. To this day, I will never remember what it was I said. But they all kind of turned on me. It was awkward and embarrassing. And they went off with this new girl when they had been my friends, right? For years, supposed to be my friends. It hurt, but I also had to recognize that what I'd said was hurtful to her. And then I realized that I'd said a few things that were hurtful. And that's probably why my friends were willing to walk away from me that day. Because while they'd been my friends for years, I hadn't been the best of friends to them. I never meant to be unkind. I didn't mean to hurt their feelings. I loved them. I respected them. I missed them a lot when they stopped talking to me. But I also recognized that I had been the bully of the group. I thought it was okay because we were friends, and I thought that they knew that I liked them, so of course we could tease each other, right? But that makes it a little bit more insidious, because I was their friend, and I was the one chipping away at their dignity. I suppose after that, I started looking at my own bullies a little bit differently. I thought it was possible sometimes I was taking unkind words to heart when somebody was just playing with me. Or maybe what they were doing wasn't about me and they didn't realize the impact of what they were doing. You're having trouble picturing me being unkind, aren't you? Yeah. I really hated that I made them feel as bad as other bullies had made me feel. Because again, to this day, I am fond of who they were. And I am sorry for how I made them feel. And I am grateful that they allowed me to be in their lives for as long as they did. And I'm also really grateful that they walked away from me that day. Because it showed me what I was doing, and that it was hurtful, and that it wasn't okay. And it showed me that sometimes you can say things that you can't ever take back. That you can do damage that can't be undone. And as an adult, I look back and I'm grateful because they still had enough dignity to tell me to fuck off. I loved those girls very much, and I'm very sorry that I didn't make them feel as loved as they were. No, I have never gone on an apology tour, but I did say sorry at the time. Well, I left voicemail messages saying sorry. You are sweet. Thank you. But also, it's kind of easier for you to forgive me, right? Because you know I'm sorry. You know I wasn't meaning to be hurtful. You also know what other shit was going on in my life at that age that made me a little bit of a mess and makes it easy to understand why my judgment was questionable. And it's also easy for you to see those things, to believe that I'm remorseful, to know that I didn't mean it, and to feel sympathy for the things that I was going through. Because to you, I have been a kind person. To you, I have not been afraid to say that I love you. To you, I have tried to keep down my most cutting jokes because they're not funny. Even though sometimes I really want to make some jokes. I just don't want them to be taken seriously. I don't want them to be internalized. And it would be easier for you to forgive whatever bad is in me because you've seen the good. But it was their trauma that paid for my lessons there. It seems like maybe your trauma paid for somebody else's lessons. Those girls don't owe me forgiveness any more than you owe your bully forgiveness. But I really hope, I really, really hope that they forgive me for their own sakes. And I hope that you will forgive him. Because it really does help to roll back some of the trauma. Or at least it did for me, with my bullies. Tell me something. Do you have things that you've said that you wish you could take back? God. What a clusterfuck we all are, huh? Just a tangled knot of bullies and victims and trauma. I tell you what. Would you like me to reach out to him? See what his story is? So that you don't have to actually talk to him. You don't have to actually forgive him. But maybe knowing that he was some neglected, abused little shit will help you let go of what he did. Or maybe knowing that he genuinely feels badly about what he did, that he genuinely cares. Sometimes knowing that someone cares they hurt us matters. You don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. But if you want, I'll do that. Might come to nothing. I really don't have the answers, I'm afraid. I just want to try and pull apart that knot of trauma. You don't have to, if you don't want to, obviously. Just let me know what you need. You don't have to decide now. Hell, you don't have to decide ever. This could be something that you forever just keep in the back of your mind as a possibility. There's no one-size-fits-all solution to this type of thing. And what worked for me may or may not work for you. But whatever you want. Whatever you think might work for you. I'm here. Hello, my lovely, lovely cupcakes. And Sam. Sam. My sweet, dear, delicious, freshest cupcake to the Cupcake Factory. Sam's my newest patron. So, thank you, Sam. Speaking of patrons, if you are a member of my Patreon, go ahead and take a look and see the schedule coming up, because I've got a good few things coming up in the Discord server, and also I've got a spicy coming out on this Sunday. There's going to be another one the following. Actually, I've got the next 3 Sunday spices ready to go. And I have to apologize because last month I had scheduled my Baker and Pound Cake tier voice hangouts for earlier in the month, and I had already started picking up being in the server a little bit more and being in the Roleplay Lounge server, which is now defunct, but I'd been spending more time in voice chat, and I had been hanging out with more people. So I put 2 memories together that I had scheduled myself earlier in the month for a voice chat, and the fact that I had been in a lot of voice chats. I put those 2 memories together and came up with a completely false memory of having actually done the Baker and Pound Cake level voice chat. So what is going on now is I'm making up for it, trying to make up for it. I have 4 hangouts scheduled, and I've posted them in my Patreon, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. I would like to thank those of you who make this a truly viable option for me to do at least part of the time. They are my Baker and Pound Cake tier levels. There's the Rogue Scholar, Barry Wilburn, Esteed, Anon, Harper Evolution, Wolf 9004, Vile Miles, Succubus Slave, Malice Silo, Army Guy 007, Mr. Fabulous, Bunny, Tiny the Taxman, Merrill, Inline Flaws, Mr. Rickles, Onin, Always Able, Infinite Moon, Old Bean UK, Klua Bear, Forces, The Swaggy Llama, Cody, Artlow, Pierce Tailish, This Guy, and Christian Cleopatra. You are my heroes, and I adore you. I hope you will all be very good to yourselves, as good to yourselves as you are to me. And I will talk to you tomorrow.